Hello, Wispies. Welcome back. And if you're new here, my name is Vic. First of all, I just want to say I am so sorry for not uploading any new contents for a few weeks now. Life just got really busy these past few weeks. April was my birthday month, so I went on a little vacation to recharge, and then I just had a lot of family gatherings, but I am back now, and today I have a very special story for you all. In one of my previous videos, I asked you guys if you would be interested in hearing stories outside of our Hmong culture, and we have a lot of yes. So, today's story originated from Japan. The story was originally translated from Japanese into English by Jade Nightmares. I do not take any credit for the original story. I am truly grateful to Jade Nightmares for introducing the story to a wider audience. And now I want to share this experience with the Hmong community. So please get comfortable and let me take you into a story that you may or may not have experienced before, one that blurs the line between dreams and reality. And if by the end of this video you realize you've experienced something similar before, please do share your story in the comments. The chair I threw slammed across the office lobby and smashed into the wall. The papers burst into the air, fluttering down like snow, while the emergency lights flickered red above me. Across from me, my boss crawled backward on the floor, terrified, with his glasses crooked on his face. Without flinching, I ran toward him with a knife in my hands. As the knife plunged into the man beneath me again and again, a horrifying thought crossed my mind. This feels like cutting chicken meat, and I loved every second of it. Years of resentment poured out with every strike, every overtime shift, humiliation, sleepless night. Every moment I swallowed my anger and forced myself to smile at him. All of it exploded out of me at once.
I hate you. I hate this damn job.
I slowly looked down at my trembling hands, covered in blood. Not just anyone's blood, but my boss's blood. His body twitched against the carpet beneath the flickering lights. My co-worker scattered in panic like ants fleeing flood water. And me? I just stood there, breathing heavily, waiting to wake up. Because that's how it's always worked. The moment things went too far, I'd wake up. But this time, I didn't. I waited. 10 minutes passed. No matter how hard I tried to force myself to wake up, nothing happened. My chest tightened violently. I stared at the blood on my hands, unable to breathe. How did we even get to this point? I started lucid dreaming 10 years ago when I was just a university student back in Tokyo. Lucid dreaming fascinated me. The idea that an entire world existed inside your own mind felt magical. I spent months studying techniques and training myself, and eventually, after countless trial and errors, I was able to enter a lucid dream once a month. For those who don't know what lucid dreaming is, it's when you become aware that you're dreaming while still inside the dream. Once you realize it, you can control parts of the dream world. Some people use it to fly, some even use it to face their fears, but me, I use it to escape. My lucid dreams always began with whatever setting the dream gave me. In my dream, there was only one rule. I could never go beyond what I already knew. I can only stay within its limits. For example, if the dream placed me inside a town I had visited before, I could walk around normally, enter stores I remembered, and even revisit streets I had walked through in real life. But the second I tried to turn down a road that I had never been on before, I'd wake up immediately. Back then, lucid dreaming was fun and harmless. I especially loved the ones where I was placed into my old high school. There, I'd control everything, go find the girl I used to like. I was more brave, and I can talk to her naturally.
Nhớ rằng lấy một my see.
I'd say casually.
Nhớ trong ngõ lý game.
She'd smile back immediately. Sometimes we'd even skip class together and walk around the city at sunset. We'd sit beside the vending machines, drinking canned coffee while the trains passed beside us. There, I'd sneak a few kisses from her.
Oi,
Cũng nhớ có hẹn my see.
She'd be so embarrassed and smile back at me. It was honestly one of the best experiences of my life. By the time I graduated from the university, I had trained myself enough to lucid dream 3 times a week. However, after graduation, my life changed completely. I got hired by a mid-sized tech company doing system design work. My life turned into endless overtime, and my boss was the worst part of it all. Nothing was ever enough for him.
Họ nó có ôi chỉ yang na, họ nó trong chỉ sao có chùa lò, có ôi chỉ yang na.
Little by little, resentment built inside me. Over the years, work only got worse. The overtime became endless, the pressure became unbearable, and before I even realized it, lucid dreaming had become part of my daily life every single night. Now, some of you may ask, how can I ever tell the reality from my dream if it became a routine? I was never afraid of mixing up reality and dreams because there was always a sign, always a feeling that told me exactly when I was crossing over. Right before entering a lucid dream, something would grip me. It always started from the pressure in my chest, then slowly spread across my entire body like invisible hands wrapping around me. Then comes the falling sensation that takes over. That was how I always knew I was in a lucid dream. This routine continued for a year. Then came that one Wednesday that changed everything. One of my colleagues walked past me around 5 p.m.
How? Don't know your Wednesday. Iki có yêu một ora china.
Yên chiều đã chi thế à?
Đã chi mà. Cho bé muốn. Khó chở.
I looked at the pile of assignments I have to finish.
Em muốn nè à? Buổi chiều cho lần đâu à?
Like usual, I stayed late at the office. Everyone else had already gone home except me and my boss. He walked past my desk around midnight and tossed another stack of documents onto my keyboard.
Cú ni họ nó bài ta kỳ nè.
I stared at him in disbelief. He didn't even bother to look at me and walked off. By the time I finally dragged myself home, my body felt numb and I can barely manage to take off my shoes before collapsing onto my bed. I remember closing my eyes, then I opened them again. I checked my phone and it's Thursday, 9 in the morning. For a moment, I just lay there confused. No dream? Usually, I will always remember entering the lucid state, but this time there was Nothing. I figured I must have been more exhausted than usual. Still, I was running late, so I rushed out the door. Thursday passed in a blur of meetings, deadlines, and my boss breathing down my neck at every few minutes. By the end of the night, I was determined to dream again. I needed somewhere to release everything building inside me, excited to go to sleep again.
Mà nó có yang bao số rong nè.
But instead, morning, Friday, again. 2 nights in a row without dreaming.
Ôi cha, mà nó có chú bao số lì nè.
That had never happened before. Something about it unsettled me deeply. By Friday evening, I felt irritated in a way I couldn't explain. I came home exhausted, collapsed onto my bed, and tried once more. Nothing. Morning again. Saturday, 3 nights without a lucid dream. Still, I tried to make the most of the weekend that turned out to be a mistake. My boss wouldn't stop calling me. Even on my day off, he kept piling work onto me.
Ôi cha cho họ lử nó có chuyện ốt tao ta thia, cô thứ để cô chủ có tiền nè, cô chỉ lý tu ta xin nó nè, cô chỉ cái khai tiền nó như vậy sao?
When I finally arrived at the office that afternoon, he immediately started berating me in front of everyone.
Ôi cha cô giờ tôi lý ta mong nó nè, in gì cũng muốn con giờ tao họ lử kia hả?
Cô thật gì cô mau chỉ cho cái tiền.
By evening, rage was boiling inside me so intensely, I barely stopped myself from screaming at him. The moment work ended, I rushed home and threw myself into my bed. Sleep took me instantly. And then, morning again. Sunday, that was when something inside me started breaking. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, trying to calm myself by scrolling mindlessly through my phone. Then my phone rang.
Cho tao tua, ôi cha có chỉ tao tua họ lử nè.
Nó nào tới Sunday nè.
Something clicked.
Giờ cũng bao số sa.
The moment I realized it, something inside me snapped completely. All the anger I'd been suppressing for months came flooding out at once. 3 straight days without a lucid dream, without release, without escape, without revenge. But this time, I was going to go all out. I walked into the kitchen, opened the drawer, and slipped a knife into my bag, headed straight to the office. When I arrived, my boss was already screaming. His voice echoed through the office floor.
Ôi cha, cô giờ tôi họ lử lý ta mong nó, in gì cũng muốn con giờ tao họ lử nè.
But this time, I just stood there, smiling. The more he yelled, the more satisfied I became. That only made him more angry.
Nè dê một chùa, có sợ hai tia nè cháu nó hình ó.
He kept yelling, and I loved every second of it. Then, at the perfect moment, I stepped backward and shouted.
Nó nào có giờ tới cháu lử nào.
Everyone gasped, and all eyes turned toward me. The feeling was intoxicating, pure release, but I still wasn't satisfied. I grabbed the chair and swung it at him, but it hit the wall. He fell onto the ground. My boss crawled backward on the floor, terrified, with his glasses crooked on his face.
Cô thoát gì, thoát có chỉ sau giờ cho cô thoát có.
Slowly, I reached into my bag, pulled out the knife, and drove it into him once, twice, again, and again.
Tụi này có chỉ nhớ cơ mù. Tụi này có nhỏ nhã.
Blood splattered across the floor and people screamed. My boss collapsed backward, choking and twitching. Finally, I can breathe. And then I wait to wake up because that's how it's always been. I broke the rule by doing something outside the limits, but I didn't. Seconds passed, then minutes, and nothing changed. Slowly, panic began creeping into my chest. I quickly ran into the restroom, changed my clothes, and then walked into the Tokyo streetlights, still believing that the dream is not over yet.
Ôi cha, cô họ chạy pla.
My heart sank and I froze in my tracks. That had never happened Before, I had never felt hungry inside a lucid dream. Not once. Trying to not panic and calm myself, I entered a ramen shop near the station.
Najawa, có sa order dachiyo.
Cô vô ấy tay mi à?
The moment I took the first bite, I nearly panicked. I can taste the food. It was of a rich pork broth with garlic and soy sauce, and the noodles had texture. Then the heat burned my tongue.
Ồ, chà cú luôn.
I could even feel the grease coating my lips.
No.
I'm not supposed to taste anything or feel any pain. If this was truly a dream, then there was still a way to prove it. I just needed to break the rule, go somewhere unfamiliar that always woke me up, always. So I rushed to the train station and bought a ticket for somewhere I'd never been to before. I boarded an old limited express train I didn't recognize, but still, I didn't wake up. My heart pounded as the city passed by outside the window, but the train kept moving and I stepped off at Mito, a city I had never visited in my life, but still nothing. I didn't wake up. That's when I realized, I really realized that I might have killed someone, actually killed someone. Half crying, half hyperventilating, I boarded another train heading further north. At some point, exhaustion overtook me again, and when I opened my eyes, the train finally stopped at a tiny station. The sign read, Iza Migamori. At least, that's what I think it said. The conductor walked toward me. My heart nearly stopped. I thought I was going to get arrested, but instead, he said calmly. Terrified, I stepped off the train. Before the train doors closed, the conductor pointed to the hill. I couldn't think anymore, but I trusted my instinct and followed it. I stepped out of the station and into the town beyond. At first glance, it looked like any ordinary village, but something was wrong. There was only one single lamp on the road, but I just kept walking forward.
Cô nhóc ở tươi tia.
As soon as I started to get worried, standing alone beneath the moonlight, the shrine came into my sight, and in the middle of the shrine was a small pond. This pond stood out to me because of how shimmery it looks like under the moonlight. For a moment, I just stood there staring. Then I noticed him. A priest stood waiting near the water, perfectly still, as if he had been expecting me. He said quietly. Without thinking, I walked toward him. The priest gestured for me to sit beside the pond. I immediately obeyed. He then handed me a small ceramic cup filled with dark liquid. The smell alone nearly made me gag. It was bitter with a foul taste.
Họ nói ra chi?
That was all he said. My hands trembled slightly as I swallowed it. Then the priest began chanting. The chanting continued, and slowly my body began to feel lighter. My thoughts grew distant. The fear, panic, and guilt, everything drifted further and further away from me. The next thing I knew, I was staring up at a ceiling, a white ceiling. It's the hospital lights. Then I heard my mother's crying.
Mấy tướng giờ, có sợ lo.
Nè, yêu cha cho cô lỡ.
Mấy tướng, có tiếng nó có tổ bên nu nè. Tí ya dùng cả quả, có tụi này lo tuần trẻ tao có, họ có lúa apartment ho.
Apparently, I had fainted inside my apartment on Wednesday night from severe exhaustion. I never went back to work after that. My chest tightened painfully when I heard that, because all those days, everything I experienced, the office to the fights, the murder, the ramen shop, and the train station, all of it had happened inside one long, lucid dream. And remember that Saturday, the day I thought my boss was screaming at me over the phone? He had actually been standing beside my bed, calling my name, trying desperately to wake me up. When I realized that, I started crying uncontrollably, not because I was relieved, but because I finally understood something horrifying. I could no longer tell when I was dreaming anymore. Reality and dreams had finally begun blending together, and the worst part, even if my boss really was as terrible as I believed, I wouldn't be alive if he hadn't come looking for me. That guilt carved something deep into me that never fully healed. Eventually, I was diagnosed with severe depression and hospitalized for a while. Even now, years later, I still struggle to sleep normally. But here's the part that still terrifies me till this day. After I was discharged from the hospital, I searched online for the shrine for my dream, and I found it. Izumi's shrine is real. In Hitachi, Izumi's shrine is famous for Izumi no Mori, a sacred spring inside their grounds. When I saw the pond from my dream, please do take a moment to look at the photo I've attached on the screen. It was exactly as I saw it. The station though, Izamegamori Station, doesn't exist. The closest rail station is Omika Station, and apparently the shrine is a very long walk from there. Part of me wants to visit that shrine someday, but another part of me is terrified that if I do go back there, something inside my head might snap again. So, for now, I'll stay away. Still, my thoughts still keeps me up at night sometimes. If I hadn't followed that road uphill that night, I may have never made it out from my lucid dream. So please, be careful of lucid dreaming, because sometimes I still can't tell the difference between what is reality and what is a dream. I just want to take this moment to thank my younger brother for being a special guest on this story. He's definitely the best. And if you enjoy the story, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Bye guys, I'll see you guys next time.